Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGenEd. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of Luminar Technologies, ticker symbol LAZR. And here I am recording this on the afternoon of Wednesday, April 10th, after the market has closed, with Luminar closing at a price of $1.76, being down more than 8% on the day. As you can see, we do have a gap down here. And so, yeah, I just wanted to go over this because I do think it has arrived at multiple key levels, could be finding support, potentially bouncing from here and moving up to fill the gap, if not going higher. But of course, it could always go lower. So I did want to go over some levels, or maybe just one level to the downside that we might want to keep our eyes on. But yeah, so here looking at the chart, the last video that I put out was on April 3rd. And so during that video, I had drawn this yellow Fibonacci retracement going up to the high hit here on April 1st. We have since gone higher, going to $2.21 on April 4th. So I will, in a minute, adjust this retracement to go up to that high because I do think it will highlight something encouraging. But, before I do that, I did want to go over where the current price is and the levels that it hit today. And so one of those levels is the 786 from this retracement here at a price of $1.73.5, having a low on the day of $1.72, just a wick below that level, and then closing above. And also very interesting, closing above this purple downtrend. And so if I do zoom out, it does look like that downtrend is based on these two pivot lows. So the low of November 28th, as well as the low of December 11th. And we did bounce off of that level here, did reside above it just briefly over here before breaking lower, then testing that as resistance, breaking above, and now it looks like we're testing it as support again. So I do think price could be making a move back up to fill this gap, which would be coming to a price of, so yesterday's low was $1.85. So that would effectively be filling this gap here up to $1.85. However, the close of yesterday, April 9th, was at a price of $1.92. So really, while we do have the candle and a wick here, the tail of that candle going down to 185, the close of yesterday was at $1.92. So really to fill that gap would actually be going up to $1.92. But of course, we might be bumping into some resistance around $1.85, as there might be some willing to offload their shares at that level. So we might be getting into resistance there. But, I do think with this doji that we see here actually opening and closing at the exact same price, $1.76, it does suggest there is a little bit of indecision, but I do think it is encouraging that we closed above these two levels. And, as I had mentioned, I could adjust this Fibonacci retracement to the high here of $2.21. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to adjust the high here, typing in the new high. And if we do look at that, the 786 is now at $1.75.4, and we did close above that today. So, that's a confluence of multiple levels, multiple retracements. And so I do think that we might be finding a bottom there. But I did also want to point out that from last week's video, I believe I did mention the 1618 extension here from this retracement. It did look like we had closed above that yesterday, and that was acting as support, but unfortunately we did gap down. So, I don't know how significant that is going to be in the future, but $1.91.1 or right around $1.90, that might be a key level for us to be getting above. And that does also seem to correspond with really, there's a couple things that correspond with some levels here. One being the 618 at a price of $1.85.2, corresponding with this gap fill or the low of yesterday. And then the 1618 extension right around $1.90 corresponds with the 50% retracement at $1.92, also corresponding with yesterday's close, so that being a more proper gap fill. So I do find that interesting in that those levels might be acting as resistance, but if we can break above them, they may be acting as key support. And then talking about levels, I did want to point out this low here. I believe that was the all-time low, or at least 52-week low, at $1.63. If we cannot hold the purple downtrend, we might be heading down there. And if we do break that, I have mentioned $1.50 to $1.52 as being a potential target because I did see this as being a flagpole effectively coming down with a bear flag here that I expected to break to the downside. But, we did not see that. We saw this move up into what looks like this wedge here, and we might be breaking higher than that. But if we don't, if it does fail, I do think, that this bear flag could be back in play. And I do think that we could be heading down to $1.50, if not lower. So I think that is a good level to be preparing for. But also I do think it is good to be keeping an eye on the current price, as this could be discounted shares with this indecision potentially suggesting a reversal, gap fill, and potential breakout of this downtrending wedge. So, that is what I am hoping for, but I'm also prepared for the downside. I hope you are too, but those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks a lot for watching.